A regular girl walked into a fancy cafe to confront a cheater and accidentally yelled at a billionaire instead. What his mother did next changed both their lives forever. Before we begin, subscribe, like, and share this video. It means more than you know. Comment below where you're watching from and rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. Aria walked out of that cafe faster than she walked in. Her face was burning. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking, and her mind kept replaying every single word she had just said. Every accusation, every dramatic hand gesture, every moment of what she had been so sure was justice. Except it wasn't Ryan. It was never Ryan. She stopped on the sidewalk, closed her eyes, and wished, genuinely wished, that the concrete would just open up and swallow her whole. Then she heard heels behind her. Slow, confident, unhurried. She turned around. The woman from the cafe was standing right there. Silver hair, Chanel suit, the kind of calm that didn't come from luck. It came from power, real power. Aria waited for the anger, the threat, the part where a lawyer's number gets shoved in her face. It never came. Instead, the woman tilted her head slightly, the way someone does when they've just found something unexpectedly interesting, and smiled. "What's your name?" Just that. 4 words. Completely calm. Aria blinked. Aria Bennett. The woman nodded slowly, like that answer had confirmed something she already suspected. "Perfect," she said, and walked back inside. Aria stood there alone on that sidewalk, confused, embarrassed, and completely unaware that one word had just changed the entire direction of her life. Aria didn't know why she followed her back inside. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was the fact that this woman walked like someone who expected to be followed. And somehow that was enough. Catherine sat back down at her table, like nothing had happened. Like a woman hadn't just caused a scene in front of 40 people 2 minutes ago. She gestured to the empty chair across from her. Aria sat down. She didn't know why she did that either. "My son," Catherine began, without any introduction, without any small talk, "has spent years surrounded by people who tell him exactly what he wants to hear." Aria glanced at Lucas. He was standing a few feet away, quiet, arms crossed, watching this unfold with an expression she couldn't quite read. Not angry, not amused, something in between. "Today," Catherine continued, "for the first time in a very long time, someone told him the truth." "I called him a rotten cucumber," Aria said carefully. "Yes," Catherine replied, "and it was the most honest thing anyone has said to him in years." Aria opened her mouth, closed it again. "I want you to marry my son." The cafe felt suddenly very quiet. Aria laughed, genuinely and nervously laughed. Then she looked at Catherine's face. Catherine wasn't laughing, not even slightly. Aria stared at her, still waiting for the punchline. It didn't come. She pushed her chair back slowly, stood up, and walked out of that cafe on legs that didn't feel entirely like her own. She told Zoe everything that night. Every word, every moment, every excruciating detail, including the part where she had called a billionaire a rotten cucumber in front of 40 people. Zoe didn't say anything for a long moment. Then she completely lost it. "Only you, Aria." She was laughing so hard she could barely breathe. "Only you could turn revenge into an arranged marriage." Aria didn't laugh, but she didn't cry either. She just sat there, replaying Catherine's face. That calm, unreadable certainty. Like she hadn't proposed something insane. Like she had simply stated a fact the rest of the world hadn't caught up to yet. The next morning, Aria put on her navy blue dress. The one she saved for important moments was. She stood outside the registry office and told herself this wasn't one of them. She almost believed it. Lucas arrived at exactly the right time. Gray suit. His lawyer is beside him. An expression that said he had already made peace with this, whatever this was. The ceremony took 15 minutes. No rings, no flowers, no moment worth remembering, except that Aria noticed, walking out, that Lucas held the door open without thinking. And she noticed that she noticed. His apartment was the most beautiful place she had ever stood in. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Central Park stretched out below, like it had been placed there specifically for this view. A kitchen that probably cost more than everything she had ever owned, combined. He showed her the guest room. Said the words clearly, marriage of convenience. Nothing more. Rules, boundaries, expectations. Aria agreed to all of it. She meant it too, for about 48 hours. Then she nearly burned down a $15,000 stove trying to make pancakes. Then she rearranged every piece of furniture in the living room because the place had no soul. Then Lucas came home, looked at his reorganized bookshelf, and laughed. Actually laughed. Neither of them knew what to do with that. Monday morning came fast. Aria tied her hair back, straightened her jacket, and reminded herself that one part of her life was still entirely her own. Her job, her work, the one thing that had nothing to do with registry offices or floor-to-ceiling windows or men who laughed at reorganized bookshelves. She walked into the Meridian Hotel and stopped. Diana Walsh was standing at the front desk. Same sharp posture, the same practiced smile that never quite reached her eyes. For years of college, and Aria could still read that smile from across a room. It meant Diana had already won something and was waiting for you to figure out what. Aria, she said it warmly, like they were old friends. I didn't know you were still here. Still, that word, placed exactly where it would land hardest. General Manager, Aria said, reading the lanyard. Congratulations. Diana smiled wider. It's going to be wonderful working together. It wasn't wonderful. Within a week, wrong shifts, public corrections, impossible deadlines. Aria delivered it anyway, every single time. But Diana wasn't finished. She was just getting started. The event was called the Hartwell Corporate Dinner. Most important booking of the quarter. Diana gave Aria the assignment herself, handed it over with a smile that should have been a warning. 7 o'clock, she said. Don't be late. Aria wasn't late. She arrived at 6:55, composed, prepared, and with every detail memorized. The room was already full. Clients are standing, drinks untouched. Tension was sitting over everything like a ceiling that had dropped 3 feet. Diana was at the center of it, and the expression on her face was the most theatrical thing Aria had ever seen outside of a stage production. Where were you? Loud enough for everyone. Deliberate. Precise. Aria didn't flinch. She didn't explain. She just moved quietly, efficiently, fixing every detail until the evening ran perfectly. The clients left satisfied, but the damage was already done. She could feel it in the room, in the silences. In a way, people looked at her slightly differently than they had before. That night she sat on the edge of the guest room bed, and for the first time, let herself feel how exhausted she actually was. She didn't hear the door, didn't hear him stop just outside it. But Lucas was there. The conference room fell silent the second Catherine Mercer walked in. Her heels clicked against the marble floor with calm authority, each step sharper than the tension already hanging in the air. Diana stopped mid-sentence, her fake smile freezing when she realized who had entered. I believe this meeting has gone on long enough, Catherine said smoothly. Nobody argued. Aria stood near the projector screen, confused by the sudden shift in energy. Just minutes ago, Diana had been tearing apart her presentation, twisting numbers, questioning her judgment, and trying to humiliate her in front of the executive board. But Catherine calmly took the remote from Diana's hand and turned toward the screen. Actually, she said, eyes cold, Area strategy increased quarterly retention by 19%, something your department failed to do all year. A few people exchanged nervous glances. Diana's face lost color instantly. Then Catherine reached into her leather folder and slid a document across the table toward Aria. Congratulations, she said softly. Vice President of Hotel Operations. Effective immediately. Aria stared at the paper, unable to breathe. And then Catherine delivered the final blow. You deserve to know the truth, she said. Lucas Mercer isn't just your husband. She paused. He owns all of this. Lucas found Aria standing alone on the rooftop terrace hours later, the city lights reflecting softly in her eyes. Cold wind moved through her hair, but she barely noticed it. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Aria finally looked at him. Why didn't you tell me? She asked quietly. No anger, no accusations. And somehow, that hurt Lucas more. He slipped his hands into his pockets, exhaling slowly. Because the second people know who I am, they change. Aria stayed silent. They become careful, he continued. Polite, strategic. Every conversation turns into performance. His jaw tightened slightly. I was tired of never knowing what was real. The words settled heavily between them. So you lied instead? Aria asked. Lucas shook his head immediately. No, I just wanted one thing in my life untouched by the Mercer name. His eyes met hers fully now. And then I met you. Aria felt her chest tighten unexpectedly. You argued with me before you even liked me, he said with the faintest smile. You stood up for employees nobody noticed. You worked harder than anyone in that building without expecting rewards. He paused. You were real when nobody was watching. The tension inside Aria shifted quietly. For the first time since this marriage began, the distance between them didn't feel impossible anymore. The change didn't happen all at once. It arrived quietly. In small moments, neither of them spoke out loud. Lucas started coming home earlier, sometimes before sunset. At first, Aria thought it was coincidence. Then she noticed a pattern. He would loosen his tie the second he walked through the door, the tension in his shoulders fading a little whenever he saw the kitchen light still on. And without realizing it, she started leaving it on for him. Dinner slowly became routine. Not scheduled, not forced, real. Some nights they talked about work. Other nights they argued over meaningless things, like whether expensive furniture made a home feel colder. Lucas preferred perfection. Aria preferred warmth. You're supposed to actually sit on couches, she told him once. Lucas looked genuinely offended. That's what chairs are for. She laughed so hard she nearly dropped her glass. A week later, he surprised her with a tiny Italian restaurant hidden between two crowded streets downtown, completely unlike the places he normally chose. Halfway through dinner, Lucas lost a battle with a plate of pasta and muttered something under his breath that made Aria laugh harder than she had in months. And walking home that night, when he placed his coat over her shoulders without thinking, Aria realized it no longer felt like pretending between them. The apartment felt different now. Warmer. Lived in. A blanket Aria had left folded on the couch. 2 coffee mugs are still sitting on the table. Soft music was playing somewhere in the background, while rain pressed gently against the windows. Lucas looked at her from the other end of the couch and realized there was no perfect way to say it. So he stopped trying to make it perfect. When this started, he said quietly, I thought it would stay temporary. Aria looked up. Lucas let out a small breath, his eyes never leaving hers. But somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling temporary to me. The room went still. I don't want this to be a contract anymore, he admitted. I don't want a marriage that only exists on paper. His voice softened. I want you, Aria. For real this time. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she saw every version of him at once. The man who listened outside her bedroom door when she was overwhelmed. The man who gave her his coat without thinking. The man who made space for her in a life that had never made space for anyone. And somehow, without noticing, he had become home. Aria smiled through the emotion building in her chest. Yes, she whispered. 3 blocks away. Catherine Mercer hid a smile behind her evening tea, like she hadn't expected anything less. The wedding was small, warm, real. Zoe cried through the entire ceremony. Lucas couldn't stop smiling. And Aria Bennett, the girl who once walked into a cafe ready for war, walked away with something she never planned to find. Love is worth keeping. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us which moment changed everything for you. Now tell me, did you see this coming from the moment Aria walked into that cafe? Drop your answer in the comments. If this story got you, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week we bring you stories that are real, emotional, and impossible to forget. More stories are waiting for you right on this screen.